Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Qatar Open Innovation Program webinar. This webinar is in partnership with between QRDI and Sidra Medicine. I'm very excited to be your host for this session. Let me introduce myself. My name is Abdelhaq Belaidi. I'm a RDI Program Manager in charge of Qatar Open Innovation Program. My distinguished guests and panelists today are Dr. Louis Saraiva and Dr. Tassir Ferozdin from Sidra Medicine. A brief short bio about my panelists. Dr. Louis Saraiva is an acting director of Disease Modeling and Therapeutic Department, principal investigator at Sidra Medicine. Dr. Saraiva earned a PhD in genetics at the International Graduate School in Genetics and Functional Genomics of the University of Cologne, Germany in 2008. He became a visiting scientist at Harvard Medical School, and then he took his first postdoctoral position at the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center in USA. In 2013, he received the EBI Sanger Postdoctoral Fellowship, continuing his postdoctoral training at the EMBL European Bioinformatics Institute and Wellcome Sanger Institute in Cambridge, UK. He joined Sidra Medicine in Qatar in 2015, leading the Human Disease Modeling Laboratory and Disease Modeling and Therapeutics Division. My second distinguished guest is Dr. Tassir Ferozdin. Dr. Tassir currently serves as pediatric otolaryngologist, head neck surgeon at Sidra Medicine and Research Center. Dr. Tassir came to Sidra after completing a fellowship pediatric otolaryngology, head neck surgery at Stanford School of Medicine, Stanford University. Dr. Tassir received several awards during his career. While at Stanford University, he was awarded the Fellow of the Year within the Department of Otolaryngology, Head Neck Surgery, and nominated for the 2023 Cayley-Scaife GME Professionalism Award. During his residency at the University of Cape Town, South Africa, he was awarded the esteemed Mandela Rhodes and the TSE SI Dubai Traveling Scholarship, among others. Regarding the agenda of this of today's meeting, I would like first to start by introducing the Qatar Open Innovation Program. Then I will hand over to my guests to talk about the Sidra Medicine Innovation Call. Afterwards, I will show you how to submit a proposal, and then we will end up by the Q&A session. So let me start by talking about Qatar Open Innovation Program. Qatar Open Innovation Program aims at continuing at connecting opportunity owner, which is in this case the large local enterprises and government agencies, with innovators, with local and global innovators. So the idea is to work with the opportunity owners to look for opportunities and challenges they have in order to improve their competitiveness and also their portfolio. And then we frame these opportunities in form of call for proposal, and we publish it all over the world. We reach out to you innovators in order to pilot your innovation product inside Qatar. So what are our offering in the frame of this program? We offer the access to funding your pilots here inside Qatar. We offer potential commercial agreements with the local large enterprises and government agencies. We facilitate company registration if you wish to have it inside Qatar. Then we also help in gaining access to local and incubators and accelerators. And last and not least, gain access to Qatari and GCC markets. Here are the all the opportunity owners who are large local enterprises inside Qatar and also government agencies that we worked with since we launched this program 2 years back in 2022. You can recognize some companies who are globally known, some of them are regionally known, and some of them are locally known, in addition to the ministries that we work with. So here are some statistics about the program since, as I said, we launched it in 2022. We published since then 47 calls from different disciplines with the 19 opportunity owners that I was showing previously. 46 calls are closed. We awarded already 27 projects, and among them, 6 projects are completed. I hope this is an encouraging statistics for you to apply for this project. I will now hand over to Dr. Lewis Saraiva to talk about the open innovation call Sidra Medicine is calling for.
Thank you very much, Dr.
Lewis, the floor is yours. Let me stop sharing.
Perfect. So let me just share my screen. Just want to make sure that you will be able to see my presentation. Can you hear me okay? Can you see the presentation okay? Yes, can I get a thumbs up, Abdelhak?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, perfect, awesome. Okay, so let me just move things around a bit here on my end. So we're here today to talk about our open innovation call, titled Diagnostic Tool for Smell Dysfunction. This is a collaboration between our research department, of which I'm a representative here at Sidra, and Dr. Tasir Din, who's a clinician at our ENT division. So as you know, smell dysfunction is an early indicator not only for various upper respiratory tract diseases, such as the flu and COVID-19, but also for a wide range of chronic conditions, including neurological, metabolic, and psychiatric disorders. We know that in humans, we have around 800 known smell receptors, of which only around 400 are functional genes, which are responsible for our sense of smell. We know that our sense of smell is very important for us to navigate our daily lives, but it is also very important for early diagnosis of certain diseases. However, while in the area, there are many smell sticks on the commercial market, there is no standardization of these tests for clinical practice, and these sticks can be either too complex to use or are not versatile enough to cover the wide range of potential patients, including children and adults, while incorporating cultural and regional diversity. This causes, of course, a big delay in detecting the loss of smell, which in certain diseases can lead to delayed diagnosis, and the treatment of a variety of conditions where smell loss is a known symptom. Now, we saw that happen during the COVID-19 pandemic, and in fact, the COVID-19 pandemic, it's something that really brought the spotlight to the sense of smell, which traditionally in both the scientific and medical fields has been the most overlooked sense of our canonical 5 senses. But before we continue, I want to say a few words about Sidra Medicine, because I don't know how many of you are familiar with Sidra Medicine. Sidra Medicine is a state-of-the-art facility committed to providing women and children in Qatar with world-class tertiary healthcare services. Personally, I like to think of Sidra Medicine as a biomedical oasis in the middle of the Arabian desert, and you can actually see Sidra located over there. This is an aerial view of Doha. I also like to think of Sidra as a beacon of hope for patients suffering from rare genetic disorders, of which we have a lot here in Doha and the global GCC region. Dr. Tassir, I don't know if you want to add anything on your side from a more medical or clinical perspective.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Louise, and thanks for the introduction. Yeah, so I think Sidra, as I've just been here about 8 months now, and from a clinical surgical standpoint, I think it really is fast becoming a very or the destination for regional referrals. Our department, pediatric otolaryngology, gets a lot of referrals from around the region, from Kuwait, Oman, Bahrain. And these patients come here for both surgical, ICU care, and medical care as well. And really, when I think about an academic tertiary center, Sidra really satisfies all those criteria. So when I think about the population, this could potentially serve, it's not only in Qatar, but really the region and potentially internationally.
Awesome. Beautiful. So we continue through our presentation journey. And let me just make sure that this is working. The slides are not going through now. Okay. So Sidra and QRDI, Sidra in collaboration with QRDI, we are seeking innovative technologies for an easy-to-use device capable of detecting smell loss that we can implement first hospital-wide, and that we hope that later on we can expand to our national healthcare services in Qatar and beyond. We invite solutions that are non-invasive, that are capable of providing up to 10 unique and widely recognized smells, such as coffee or lemon, and potential link and the potential to link smells with imagery for ease to use, such as integration with an app that you can load on your smartphone or on an iPad, where kids can easily just point and click when they smell a scent and can just point and click at an image to identify the correct scent. We want the solution to be agnostic to cultural or regional inputs. In other words, it should have the flexibility to modify the smells based on geographical, cultural, or age requirements. We wanted this product to be quick in identifying smell dysfunction, because we wanted to be integrated seamlessly with just a regular consultation even with a GP. Ideally, these tests should not take longer than 10 minutes to both deploy and to get the result from. These results should be able to be integrated into electronic health records, or EHR. And the techniques should be simple enough to train current medical staff that can easily deploy, that should be able to deploy these tests in the clinics. Of course, we are all here because we want you guys to help us achieve enhanced healthcare. And from my side, that's all. I'm open to answer any questions. And before I pass on the torch to Dr. Abdelhak, I don't know if Dr. Tassir, you want to add something?
Sure. Thanks, Louise. I think, that was fantastic. And that was a great overview. I mean, from my standpoint, as a pediatric ENT that is seeing up to about 20 patients a day, I think about enhancing our care, also making it more efficient. And I think about a busy clinical setting where I feel like I need a quick test, potentially administering to a toddler with a very low concentration span. So they're able to quickly interpret it. And once we get the results, we're able to actually get the analysis very fast as well. So all I'm saying is that, when you're dealing with adults, it's one game, but when you're dealing with children, you really need to think about different aspects of technology. And I think Louise highlighted those very, very nicely. And as he said, there's no standardized way to actually do this in children. So this is really, really exceptionally exciting. And we really look forward to seeing your proposals. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lewis and Dr. Tassir, for your clear presentation. I would like right now to show you how to submit a proposal. So how to submit? Hello? Looks like I missed something.
We can hear you, Dr. Abdelhak. Yeah, the slides.
You hear
loading.
me? I'm sorry. Looks like Zoom has an issue. Do you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so please access our link at this link, and it's already posted on the chat. Scroll down until you find the challenge, which is live, which is active right now, and you can read the description of the challenge, and then apply. If you want to apply for your solution, click on this button. It will take you to our partner platform, which is 9 Sigma. You will see again the same challenge, description, everything. If you want, just by clicking on respond, you will start applying for your solution. If you have an account, then you sign up. Otherwise, you will have to register. Then you will find the different fields for a title of the description. You have this or different fields where you have to fill your proposal. Here are some suggestions. Please fill in all the fields and tick all the relevant boxes within this link. And if you are not yet done, you can save your application and then return later and then continue your application. If you finish your application, please do not forget to click on the submit button. Otherwise, your proposal will stay in the draft status. It will not reach us. This is very important. Again, I reiterate on the fact that submitting as much possible information as possible is very important to us. Please note that the due date to submit your proposal is May 7th, 2024. We reached now the Q&A session. I will start by reading your questions. Are there any questions? Luis, do you see any questions from your side, please? Because I don't see any.
There are 3 questions in the Q&A section.
Yeah, sorry, I don't see them, and I don't have.
Now there are 5 questions. Well, I can
go
read.
ahead, please. If these are technical questions, go ahead and.
So the first question is, what is the regulation required? So I think I think I would like this question to be a bit more specific, but I'll
Yes.
try. I'll attempt to answer. So I think the regulation required, it needs to adhere to the regulation that's common in for any hospital located in anywhere. So typically here in Qatar, we either follow the US or the European or UK regulation. So the regulation would be very, very, very similar to that. I think, I guess it's an anonymous attendee, so I'd like you to clarify a bit more what kind of regulations you're talking about, so that you can give you a better answer. How soon the solution is expected by Sidra? That's question number 2. I guess the timeline is included in the information in the proposal, right, Abdelhak?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can consult the timeline for when the solution would be expected by Sidra. So we basically have a period where so after this call, the proposals are going to be submitted. then we will, together with Sidra, together with QRDI, will choose the winner, and then we'll basically be working together with you for the period of about a year, if I'm not mistaken, Dr. Abdelhak.
This is
And
it, yeah.
then we should have a prototype that's working roughly within that time. And I guess there's another question: what might phase 2 and 3 look like? I guess this question would be more for Dr. Abdelhak from the QRDI perspective.
Yeah, so phase 2 and 3 depends on the POC. If Sidra is happy with the POC and at what stage this POC is. If it's at, I would say, technology readiness 9 already, then it's going to be a commercial agreement. If it's not yet done there, then it should be a collaboration to continue developing this solution. Yes, now I can see the question right now. So I go to question number 4. If we have the solution, what does it mean?
Yeah,
can you please, Mr. Amos, can you please reword your question and make it more clear? The other question is, I want to ask about, we need to make a prototype for our proposal? Not for the proposal. So for the proposal, you need to say what you will be doing within 1 year, and the prototype will happen within this year, that you will work together with Sidra Medicine. Next question is, will you provide any data for training?
I guess I can take that question.
Yes, please, Dr.
The answer is no, right? Because what we want to evaluate directly in patients if whatever solution you propose, if it's ideally, if it complies to all of the requirements that we put down there. So this is not the type of proposal where we provide you any data set for training. Also, the question is not as specific as I would like. I don't know. Yeah, so there will be no data sets for training.
All right. Next question is, does the SME need to be registered entirely in Qatar at any stage of the submission or later delivery phase? For the POC, for this first, I would say, phase, we don't need the company to be registered inside Qatar. However, the prototype should be tested inside Qatar. So you will have to come here and do the testing together with Sidra. Next question is, what are the baseline smells that we use in the diagnostic process? I think question to you, Dr. Lewis or Dr. Tassir.
I can take that question. So I think, we are quite flexible on the smells that you propose to use. Of course, as part of the proposal, we could suggest a few smells, but we also want to gauge how well you can think about what smells could be used here, right? Because that's one of the requirements of the proposal, that you need to choose smells that are widely recognizable, that are culturally sensitive for the region, and that could, in theory, be recognized by both adults, teenagers, and children, right? So, I guess we cannot really tell you what the smells are, because it's one of the things that we'll be assessing in the proposal when you propose, when you think about it and submit your proposal.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Lewis. Next question is, can Sidra help in providing data for possible machine learning training to be used?
I guess I can answer that question, and the answer
yes, please, Doctor.
The answer is no. I don't think. I think at this point we are at the stage where we want to develop a product that will allow us to collect data, and from patients, right? So we are at the very early stages. So I think, thinking about a data set for machine learning training to be used, these would come only very, very, very further down the process. definitely, most definitely not at this stage.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Luis. Next question is, what material can we submit? Video, samples, etc. Can we show an example of our current smell tests? Well, what you'll be submitting from our side, and then I will hand over to my partners from Sidra. From our side is the proposal, online proposal, and any attachment with it is acceptable. Videos or flyers, web links, all these things. I don't know from Sidra side. I leave it to Dr. Luis and Dr. Tassir.
No, absolutely. If you have material like that, if you have a company, if you have a website, if you have already a product, a prototype, I mean, most definitely, if you have videos that shows how your product works already, that would be fabulous, of course. Yeah, we encourage you to submit whatever can support your application.
Okay, next question is, does the data collected have to be hosted in Qatar if the solution use a cloud-based infrastructure?
So I guess I can go.
Go ahead, Dr. Luis.
Yeah, I can try to answer. Again, this is not a project. I feel that some of these questions are aimed at the use of machine learning algorithms to see what we can learn. I mean, again, this project at this stage is not, that's not the goal. It's just we want to develop a prototype for which we can collect data, for which we can reliably assess olfactory function and dysfunction. So, but eventually, any data that's collected here in Qatar with our patients will be stored locally, because we will need to we'll need to apply for a research project that will need to be approved by the IRB, the local IRB here. Eventually, if it's a collaboration with a foreign institution, it may need to be approved elsewhere. And then, in terms of data collection and sharing, it will just follow the regular data collection and sharing guidelines that are applicable pretty much everywhere for any research scientific project. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, I think it's clear, Dr. Luis. Thank you. Next question is, what are the 10 elements that must be implemented for patient to smell? Is there any level of intensity of smell that is specified? How decides that condition?
Great questions. Great questions. And I think that's partly what we want you to be proposing, right? Because we definitely have an idea of things, but we are open to other ideas and to see what you guys think. So how do we do that condition? I guess we will have to sit down and assess all the applications and see what we think is best.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Luis. Next question is, the smell test that will be developed is designed for adults or children? This is because the ability to detect the odors varies between the two age groups. I give you also the hand. This is a technical question for...
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, there are some smells for which there are definitely some odorants that children are more sensitive to, or some others that adults are more sensitive to. And in general, as we age, we know that our olfactory ability decreases with age, generally speaking. Of course, again, there's a lot of literature out there, right, that you can screen. Some of these smells are known, most of them are not known. So obviously, when you submit your proposal, you need to have these into account, right? So this is not an answer that we want to give you right now, because, I mean, this is part of the homework, right, that the people who submit the proposals would also be doing, right?
Thank you again for your answer. Now, next question. Any neurological feedback is needed as well, or just an outwardly action by the subject to point to a picture?
So I guess that it would be the outwardly action by the subject to point to a picture. So the type of test that we envision is basically a test where you can administer the smells. How you administer the smells would also be up to you, right? That's something that we're very keen on seeing what kind of things are proposed. And you want to keep it as simple as possible. So we don't want to include any neurological feedback because that would increase the time and the complexity for this of the test, which would basically make it very hard to be deployed across, all the clinics or across all of the medical doctor's office, or to train the medical doctors to actually use that equipment. So we want something really simple, something that you can smell, point at the picture, and get it right or wrong, right?
Thank you, Dr. Lewis. Next question is, in phase 1, how many study participants is anticipated, or will in-human study happen in phase 2?
So, Dr. Tassir, do you want to take this question?
Sure. I mean, we have 20 patients a day in my clinic. I'm happy to have as many participants as potentially possible. And so really, I don't think numbers here would be a problem.
Yeah, and to add on that, so definitely right now for this grant, we would like to test a prototype with us in as many patients as we could possibly, quote unquote, get our hands on. And that will also depend on how quickly, on how quick or how late the prototype would be delivered to us, right? Because the grant will have a duration of execution. So the sooner you can deliver a prototype, the more data we can collect, the more participants we can test, right? And the more reliable the data that we collect then will be to eventually go into phase 2.
Right.
And I guess I can answer the second question, the question after, which is, will the realization be in the patient's home or hospitals? It would be at Sidra Medicine.
All right, thank you. Next question is, I want to ask about criteria of selection of the proposal.
So I guess those are mainly outlined in the call, right? That was part of the presentation that I said. We specify the things that we'll be looking at, right? When we evaluate the proposals, we have like a few musts that we need to see. And, other than that, we're also open to be creative, right? I mean, if you have a solution or if you have something on there that we might have not think about, we are open to evaluate those proposals, right? That's why we're putting this open innovation call out there, so that we're not limited to the things that we know. So you can go to the website and again, go through all of those criteria again, and just use that to guide your proposal.
All right, thank you. I think one of the criteria is the company itself. Is the company really a R&D company, or is it just a consulting company? Does it have before real technology that is developing or not? So one of the criteria is that there should be a development component within the proposal, as we do not take the off-the-shelf proposals. Next question is, does Sidra Medicine take care about the obtaining ethics approval for testing a solution with patients?
The answer is absolutely yes. We have an IRB office, and of course we follow, for all of the ethics approval, we follow the same system as the US. Any human research that's conducted at our hospital needs to first get local IRB approval. So yes, we would be working together with you to submit the IRB application here at Sidra. It will be reviewed by our IRB Institutional Review Board Committee, and only after the approval after the research project is approved, we could then start the testing on the patients.
Right, thank you, Dr. Lewis. Another question. It's again, the inhuman, you said, is the inhuman study planned in phase 2? And phase 1, Sidra will evaluate and submit the IRB. I hand over to you, Dr. Lewis and Dr. Taysir, for that.
Yeah, so I guess the inhuman study would be both phase 1 and 2. And and definitely phase 1, we would be submitting the IRB. And we have not submitted any IRB yet because obviously the IRB needs to take into consideration what kind of test we're going to be doing, right? And how does the product look like, because that's going to be very relevant. I don't know, Dr. Tassir, if you want to add something to this.
No, I agree with you, Luis. And just to reiterate is that, we have a good IRB at our hospital and we follow all the protocols necessary. And we'll obviously have to satisfy all those protocols before we institute any testing to any of our patients.
All right, thank you, Dr. Tassir and Dr. Luis. Last question, are you also interested in longitudinal testing so as to test people repeatability over time from actually to over years?
Yes,
there's something called.
I can start. So yes, absolutely, right. I mean, one of the ideas of us doing smell testing that is, easy to do, that can be done quickly, is that when you are a patient and you come to our clinics, right? You come to our hospital, you come to Sidra Medicine. Of course, we would test you just as a general checkup, right? And ideally, the first test that would occur is while you're healthy, right? And this would get to your baseline. Once we have your baseline, then of course, next time you come to Sidra, we would be doing this test. This test could be very useful, for if you're a healthy individual to figure out, for example, when you have an upper respiratory tract infection, do you have a complete loss of smell? Could also be later on accompanied by a taste smell, right? Because those were the two components that were used to discriminate between COVID-19 and other more regular flus, right? For example, during the COVID-19 pandemic. And also for individuals that, for example, suffer from neurodevelopmental disorders, or if you're following or treating an individual with some drug that will alleviate disease X, that would have an impact on the olfactory system. Of course, having the longitudinal testing in the same individual would be of a very high value for the individual itself and also like for the healthcare system in general. That's why we want it to be as well easy to integrate with electronic health record systems.
Right,
yeah,
thank you.
But to add to that as well, as Luis was saying, was that, I mean, from a surgical standpoint, I was just telling the team that, we just operated on a patient last week that had a tumor inside the nose, a 6-year-old boy. And it would have been great to actually test his smell beforehand. And I'm seeing the patient in a week's time in my clinic. It would be great to now test, a week from now, and then a month from now, and then 6 months from now. And it's the same thing for a lot of other patients that we see quite routinely in our clinic, which is patients with acute sinusitis, chronic sinusitis, nasal septal malformations that you're going to operate for in the nose. So I guess the question or the answer to you is that we will be instituting this test clinically, both probably once off as baseline, but more regularly for patients that actually need it, especially if you're instituting some sort of intervention.
Thank you, Dr. Tassir, for your clarification. There is another question regarding the budget. It said, how detailed does the budget need to be? Are there any specification on eligible costs? The grant is up to $100,000 US per challenge, so it's up to $100,000. In the initial application, you just put a scope that the budget should not exceed $100,000 US, and then, if selected, we will talk about the breakdown of the budget. There are some eligible costs like manpower, equipment, software, all of it. Another question is, the conditions for 10 minutes of testing time is the hands-on time, that is the complete testing time, that including the test result, or just the testing procedure without testing result? I hand over to you, Dr. Lewis.
Yeah, so, ideally, within 10 minutes, you'd conduct the test and get the results, right? That's what we're shooting for. We want something that's quick, reliable, and can easily be deployed. So ideally, yes, 10 minutes. But, if you would submit a test that's 10 minutes and 15 seconds, I don't think we would hold it against you. If you're submitting one that could be completed in 8 minutes, then that would be even better, right? But ideally, yes, within 10 minutes.
All right, so I think we reached the end of the webinar. Dr. Lewis and Dr. Tassir, you wanted to say a word before closing the webinar?
Really, from my side, it's just, it's great to see the kind of interest that we're seeing with the number of attendees and also the number of questions and the detail of the questions as well. I think these are all important topics and questions, and we'll have opportunities for clarification in the future as well. But I think for now, my only advice is that, be as innovative as possible and be as have a broad imagination when you're submitting these proposals, because this is untouched territory as far as children is concerned. And I think we are really uniquely poised to try to create something international at our hospital here and with QRDI. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tassir.
Yeah, I think absolutely. Think out of the box. That's why we're putting this open innovation call. That's why they're there. And we look forward to working with, I guess, at least some of you that are here in the audience.
Thank you, Dr. Lewis. Now we reached the end of the webinar. I would like to thank Dr. Lewis and Dr. Tassir for their clarification regarding the innovation opportunity. I would like to thank everyone who attended the webinar, and I look forward to receiving your proposals and hopefully working with you on the developing your prototype in Qatar. Thank you very much and have a nice day.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Great.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.